The SRPE51K1 might just be Seiko's best affordable watch. Hi Last Watchers, it's me. I'm back in all my vocal glory. It turns out you missed my voice in the last video, an experiment I promise not to repeat. Would you believe that only about 10% of you subscribers actually have your notifications switched on for my videos? I only post 2 or 3 videos a month, and I would hate for you to miss out, so be sure to hit all the relevant buttons at the foot of this video. It literally takes seconds to do and should get those YouTube analytics busy promoting my channel. Well, go on then. Way back in the autumn of 2019, Seiko shocked many of its supporters by retiring the SKX line of dive watches, although it was kind of expected, as there had been long-running rumours of its potential demise. The SKX was getting a bit long in the tooth and showing its age. I mean, this is the 21st century and they didn't even have hand winding and hacking. Seiko fans held their breath to see what, if anything, might replace a much-loved hard-as-nails diver. They didn't have to wait long, as Seiko quite quickly unveiled the SRPD Seiko 5 Sports collection, introducing more than 24 variants, heavily inspired by the defunct SKX. The new Seiko 5 options received much criticism for being style over substance, and they were classed as diver light due to their lack of screw-down crown and only 100 meters of water resistance. I covered this in a review of the Seiko Save the Ocean Turtle in January 2020 to highlight that Seiko still have some reasonably priced dive watches that would be a better option than the new SRPDs. You can watch that review by clicking the link at the top right hand side of your screen. The Seiko 5 collection continues to expand with a multitude of colour variations and strap options across different lines that Seiko have labelled as sports, suits, specialist, street and sense styles. There are now more than 60 options of relatively affordable entry-level automatic watches that are sure to appeal to every segment of the market and, more crucially, to a younger generation. You can't knock Seiko for that. I have shied away from the new Seiko 5 lineup, although I was almost tempted by the SRPD 73K1, which I thought resembled the 2020 James Bond Omega Seamaster, which at the earliest we won't see on film until the end of 2021. Come on, Bond. Well, Seiko have succeeded in getting my attention, or more to the point, my cash. They quietly released 10 new variants with the SRPE Sport designation, a bunch of fixed bezel watches which have been fondly termed as the DressKX. My only question is, why did it take them so long? Seiko first introduced their Seiko 5 models in 1963. The more robust sports models were added later in 1968. The design concept of the 5 range was to make affordable, practical watches for the masses. Each watch had the same 5 core features: an automatic movement, day and date display at the 3 o'clock position, water resistance, recessed crown at the 4 o'clock position, and a durable case and bracelet or strap. The sports models later added an unbreakable Diaflex spring and the Diashock shock resistance. They proved to be a massive hit. That's enough of the history lesson. There are literally thousands of Seiko 5s, way too many to mention in this review. So let's concentrate on the one I have in hand, the SRPE 51K1. It has a diameter of 40mm, a lug width of 20mm, a lug to lug of 44.5mm, and a case thickness of only 11.7mm. Its weight on this bracelet, minus 4 links for my 7-inch wrist, comes in just under 126.6 grams. The first thing you will notice about the SRPE 51 is its lack of rotating diver's bezel, and it's no great loss as it transforms the watch into an entirely different animal. I would love to know if this was by accident or design. I have a picture in my head of a tired production line worker halfway through his shift who didn't get his coffee fix, inadvertently applying the wrong bezel to a watch, then covering his arse by saying it was a deliberate act. I just hope he got a promotion. In any case, I would gladly shake his hand if and when I'm allowed to do so. The SRPE has a rather striking all stainless steel asymmetric case. Its face has a well-defined circular brushing that does little to grab your attention, but its profile is where this watch shines, quite literally. The highly polished curvy sides are extremely well finished for a watch at this price point. The level of detail around the guarded crown will make you second guess how much you paid for this watch. Yes, you need to remind yourself that the crown does not screw down, hence its 100 meter of water resistance. I found myself on several occasions trying to unthread this crown before winding or setting the time, and Seiko neglected to sign it, but they don't even do that on their £1,000 divers. Unexpectedly, Seiko have thrown you a bone. The watch comes with drill lugs, as I suspect the guy in the production line knew this watch had the potential to be a strap monster. Something I will shortly put to the test. The highly polished bezel of the 51 draws you into focus all your attention on the gorgeous anthracite dial, which resides beneath a slightly raised flat hardlex crystal. The starburst grey is not dissimilar to the dial of the considerably more expensive SRPE51K1. This makes the 51 look like an absolute steal compared to its pricier brother. The entire layout of the Seiko 5 dial has been taken from the SKX line, albeit with a few fresh updates. The all-new markers are now applied with polished silver frames. Gone is the printed Seiko automatic from the 12 o'clock position. In its place is an applied Seiko and a printed new 5 logo, which I find to be very reminiscent of the Suzuki car logo. Above the 6 o'clock pill-shaped marker is the printed automatic script which replaces the diver's 200 meter and 21 joules text of the legendary diver. Below the pill is some printed script specifying the watch's improved 4R36 movement over the outgoing 7S26. The date window remains untouched, providing both day and date, which come with a quickset facility. The colour coordinated chapter ring has silver printed minute markers. It is typically Seiko, as it is ever so slightly misaligned, something I shall have to live with. The handset has had the finest of subtle tweaks. Everything including the seconds hand is now nicely polished. That includes the counterbalance, which would normally be black. The minute hand is now a straight arrow. The fat tail has gone. The handset and markers have lashings of Seiko Lumibrite. After all, this is designated as a sports watch. Telling the time in low light will not be an issue. The refinement and simplicity of the dial, framed by the polished bezel, give the watch a very clean look. If it wasn't for the date window, I'd swear blind that I was looking at the Tudor Black Bay 41. Well, I can dream, can't I? The rear of the case reveals a diver-style screw-down caseback with a display window which allows us to see the rather utilitarian 4R36 movement. A 24 joule caliber which hacks and hand winds. It has a beat rate of 21,600 ticks per hour or 6 ticks per second. It has a stated power reserve of 41 hours and an accuracy range between plus 45 and minus 35 seconds per day, which I would say is pretty lousy. But this diamond in the rough is running pretty much at COSC standard at less than plus 2 seconds per day. Yes, I got a good one. The 4R36 is nothing to look at, but Seiko have done their best to add some detail on a fairly basic movement. The branding on the rotor is rudimentary, but appreciated. The bracelet is acceptable and not exceptional. It's a mainly brushed stainless steel 3-link affair with polished outer edges. It fits well between the 20mm lugs and tapers to 18mm at the clasp. The Seiko branded clasp and buckle jumps back out to more than 21mm in width. It's brushed with a polished bevel edged. The fold-over safety with dual push-button release reveals a basic pressed metal deployant. The buckle has very minor allowance for micro-adjustment. The bracelet links are rolled rather than solid steel, which are adjusted with push pins. The end links are hollow. The bracelet is a reminder that this is an entry-level watch on a budget. It does its job, but could do with some refinement. The SRPE51 is a very attractive watch. Its slim profile, 40mm diameter, case finishing and elegant dial make it very easy to wear. I ordered the 51 because it came on a bracelet, and you all know I'm a sucker for a bracelet. But there is another version of this dial, the SRPE61, which comes with a brushed bezel and a grey NATO style strap. The watch has a much more tooly field watch look about it and doesn't lose any of its charm. Like the production line worker, it got me thinking that the SRPE51 might be a bit of a strap monster, so I've pulled out a few straps that I just happen to have lying around. Taking my inspiration from the NATO-clad SRPE61, I thought I'd kick off the catwalk, or strap run, with a ballistic nylon single pass Zulu dive strap from Vario. Now I'm kinda cheating a little bit here. This is actually 22mm wide, not the required 20. It's a snug fit, but stays fairly comfortable. The golden divider is a definite pass. Next up is a very affordable rubber dive strap that I picked up from AliExpress. I think this was £6, not much more in dollars. I chose this waffle to partner up with my Captain Willard, the Steel Dive Homage, which is still on its bracelet. Again, it partners well with the Seiko, a good choice for those of you that like to get wet on a regular basis. Fresh out the packet is this leather Zulu diver from Watch Gecko. My wife bought a bunch of straps for me a couple of Christmases back, and this has been sitting in a drawer waiting for the right watch to come along. I'm not sure if it's too ostentatious for the DressKX. Maybe it needs to wear in a little. It's still quite stiff, and the hardware might be a tad too much. Now, I've said this before, I'm a great believer in fate. If something is meant to happen, then it usually does. I think this is true with watch collecting. The watch you want will always come around at the right time and for the right price. Unless, of course, it's a Rolex. The same week that I bought the 51, I happened to see a post on Instagram from Uncle Seiko advertising their new president-style bracelets. Not only that, but they were being sold on the Uncle Seiko new UK website. I contacted Larry with a cheeky request for the new president, and he went out of his way to send me one personally, all the way from California. What a guy! Now, when this turned up, I had a few reservations about those petite jangly links and the hollow end links, but fitted to the watch, it sits elegantly on my wrist. It's like they were meant to be together. A perfect pairing. The president elevates the SRP to a more reverential position, and it's a refreshing change and a very different look to the multitude of oyster-style bracelets I currently have. The president is a keeper and my firm favourite, although the AliExpress waffle comes a close second. I will be checking out the new Uncle Seiko UK website to grab a bracelet for my Seiko Turtle. A big shout out goes to Larry. Many thanks for sending me the bracelet. It's a wonderful gift and much appreciated. Well, which was your favourite strap option? Which one would you choose for your own SRPE? And do you think the watch is a worthy strap monster title holder? Let me know in the comments below. You may have already guessed, I'm a big fan of this watch. It's by no means perfect, but I think Seiko knocked it out the park with the entire SRP lineup. Why would you spend money on an overpriced quartz fashion watch or chance a micro brand when you can pick up a quality automatic from a big brand name for the same amount of dosh? There's no question that the 51 could be improved upon. The addition of a sapphire crystal and a signed crown would be much welcome. A perfectly aligned chapter ring would seal the deal. But hey, this is a Seiko. The SRPE 51 has a recommended retail price in the UK of £230. You should easily be able to pick one up at a discount. I paid less than £180 for the Anthracite Beauty, and it came with a 2-year guarantee. I'll add some Amazon links for the range in the video description below. Bear in mind, I am an Amazon affiliate. Seiko have very cleverly turned the negatives of the Divalite SRPD range into positives with the SRPEs. The result is a very attractive, versatile sports watch well worthy of the DressKX title. The fact that this watch has the DNA of the SKX has made me question whether I should pick up the original before they disappear for good. In a world where Seiko have been pushing up their prices with a relentless stream of limited editions, the SRPE lineup makes for a refreshing change. It might just be Seiko's best affordable watch. Let me know which is your favourite from the new Seiko 5 lineup, or even if you have a golden oldie that sports the 5 badge. And don't hold back with your comments on the SRPE 51. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video.